Liza.
Hello, I'm Luigi.
And today we are here to talk about what the next president can do about the Indigenous people.
Recently, we've been hearing issues regarding Indigenous people, specifically the Lumad. First, their educational facilities have been used as military bases by the government.
The second one is conquering their lands for private mining and corporate uses.
Now, these issues end up with conflicts. And what do these conflicts end up with? Killings. Fortunately, after much research and gathering of ideas from our fellow Wisconsinistas, we've come up with 5 main points that the president should consider.
First one is,
the next president should consider to preserve IP's culture. It is to balance a wish to preserve traditional cultures with a desire to stimulate tradition-based creativity as a contribution to sustainable economic development. Cultural diversity, particularly in societies with both indigenous and immigrant communities, require cultural policies to maintain a balance between the protection and preservation of cultural expressions, traditional or otherwise, free exchange of cultural experiences.
Second one is,
the next president should assure the indigenous people of their security. How can he or she do this? He or she can do this by monitoring and giving concrete limits as to what the government can touch regarding the resources of the indigenous people. There should be a law that states up to what point the military and government officials can intervene. Other than that, the indigenous people should be left at peace on their own, leaving what is rightfully theirs just for them. This will enable both parties, the government and the indigenous people included, to have legitimate data to show whenever an argument about resources arises.
the third one is,
The next president should provide legitimate titles for their lands that are recognized by the government, and these titles of nobility should be existed or still exist. Titles that are legitimate, bearing in mind that the government should consider because first of all, these lands are where they feed and plant their living, and even some of these lands are the pamana of their ancestors.
fourth one is,
The next president should provide adequate and decent services even to the indigenous people in far rural areas. They should be treated the same as to how most people in urban areas are treated. Instead of only focusing on further developing urban areas, the next president should also look at the side skirts of the country and meet their needs. They should be provided with nearby health services, educational facilities, and the like. Not only will this improve the indigenous people's lives, but it will also instill the value of equality among all kinds of people.
and the last one is,
The president should address issue of company relation with IP. In this agreement, the government should provide a contract between the IP and private companies that both parties should agree on. Most would agree that modern growth is ultimately based in advanced science. Therefore, the government should provide the needs of these companies by giving them a contract that they will not harm the natural resources and the IP's way of living.
There you have it, the 5 points the next president should take into consideration to help the indigenous peoples. Again, they are: first, preserve their culture; second, assure security for them by having concrete limits as to what the government can touch; third, provide legitimate titles for their lands; fourth, provide equal opportunities with regards to facilities and education that are at par with urban areas; and fifth, address the issue of company relations with indigenous people. Hopefully, you can spread the word, and who knows, maybe the next president may just listen to us.